Alright, welcome back guys. I just thought I'd do like a vlog where I'm putting together a $20 PC. That's right, $20. So welcome back to Techie City, ladies and gentlemen. This is Brian coming back to you guys today with some little vlog where I've just picked up this junk PC for $20. So I'm pretty much cleaning it down at the moment with some 556 CRC. I absolutely love this stuff. And man, it was an absolute mess before, but it's some Raid Max case. It came with 3 fans. I even think they're LEDs, so that's that. And then up here we've got a Q, I'll actually pull this outside because it's light. We've got a Q9550 which came with it as well. So yeah, for $20 I was surprised. Like, these guys clearly didn't know what PC parts are worth. So inside we have as well a Zeus motherboard, which I'll just pull out for you guys. We've got a Zeus motherboard. Now I've cleaned this down as well, so that's with CRC 556. So I've cleaned all that down. That's good to go. And it even came with a 600 watt power supply. Like, you know, I've cleaned this down too as well, but so for $20 we've got a 600 watt power supply, a motherboard, a Q9550, a junk Intel heatsink fan, a Raid Max case, and then we've got in here 4 GB of DDR2 memory. So I was kind of shocked. I mean, this is really good, especially if someone wanted to build a real budget PC, because I've got a GT 740 upstairs. I think it is a 740. I'm not too sure. I have to check, but I've got a real budget graphics card upstairs as well. So I'm going to pair it with this. I've even got a 750 GB like just hard drive that I pulled out of a laptop. So I'm just going to see if I can put something together for $20 and post on the results. Now, keep in mind though that there is a big risk that these parts won't work at all. So since it was labeled as junk, but I've got a feeling it'll work. I mean, I've cleaned it all down now and it does look pretty damn good. So we're going to use, we're just going to go into it. Actually, one thing I can show you is the IO shield. So that's, it even came with the IO shield as well. So just put that on the CPU, you know, it's no problems. So if it's going to work, it's going to work. Anyway guys, let's move on to the next part where I put this all together and we're going to whack a graphics card in there, a hard drive, and see if it fires up. Here's a look at how dirty it was before. So here's the heatsink fan and it's just like almost antiqued. So really filthy. So we just get this stuff and you just spray it down. You know, you can just like grab that, spray it down, you know, wipe off the heatsink paste. That comes off pretty easy. And then you just can grab a brush. I mean, I'm doing this with one hand, so so this is how easy it is to clean your computer parts, you know. Like, no bull, no bull. Like, this will actually come up pretty well. Yeah, take a look at that. Anyone want roasted pizza for breakfast? So there's the after. So it looks a little bit cleaner than it did before. So yeah. Now these folks were even nice enough to include a DVD rewritable as well. So this $20, man, I'm extracting some value out of it. So we're about to start the build and this input-output shield is like completely wrong. And like the top 2 ports there in the back, they're like PS2 ports. You can see this one doesn't even have 2 PS2 ports. But anyway, the build's mostly ready to go in, so I'm just doing some little prep changes here and then I'm going to install it all. Oh yeah, look at that. We're gonna do some B-roll on this jungle sandwich, fellas. So there it is. I haven't even bothered doing any cable management. I just really want to see if it works at the moment. And then we can pretty much yeah. I mean, I actually don't know the power switch and reset switch configurations. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of guess and then see if it boots up by pressing either one. Just sort of like, yeah, troubleshoot that. Because this actual motherboard, even though it looks pretty decent, it actually doesn't have a model name on it. So I can't find a model number anywhere. I mean, that's before I covered it with jungle cable. But anyway, let's try and boot it up and see if it works. So here's the moment you guys have all been waiting for. I am going to boot this thing up and see if it turns on. So fingers crossed if I got the power switch right. So, okay. Alrighty. I don't even know where the power button is on this case. Okay. Nothing. The light on the motherboard's on, so hopefully I can rework the power switches down there and see if one of those is the actual power switch. So yeah, that's not... I gotta rehook the power switch up down there. Okay, so I rehooked the power switch up and it's booting up. Whoa! This $20 PC is working. I can't believe this. Holy crap, that's insane. Like, I mean, even like the fans are working too. Even though they're really weak. Like, wow, this is like the weakest fans I've ever seen in my life. They just don't, like, they're blowing like no air. Yeah, that's weak. But anyway, the computer is still initializing, so I mean it boots up, which means the CPU, the RAM, I guess everything's working. I think there just might be a problem with it, so I probably have to diagnose what's going on with this, and then I can try and get it to boot. So we'll just play around with it. I mean, I might jump in the BIOS because I could go to the BIOS before, and then we'll see if it works. Okay, so the problem we got now is it's just stuck on this screen where it's saying initializing, but interestingly enough, this memory stick, when it has this one in only, it doesn't boot. But when it has this one in, it does boot, which would mean that it's most likely a memory problem and that the memory might not be compatible, or it's just that it needs more voltage. I'm not too sure. And so it's just not working properly with the said conditions. So what I'm going to try to do now is, I don't know, I mean, I might, last ditch attempt, I might try pulling off these blue, because it's got these overvolt settings, and I might just try pull these pins off and see if it boots. If not, I might just run down to a secondhand junk store and grab like a DDR2 stick of memory and try another stick. And you know, 'cause if the motherboard does work, it's always a good thing if you can salvage it. Just it seems like something's going on with the memory here in terms with the motherboard, so that's why it's not booting up. But anyway, we'll get more progress on that soon. Alright, so we went to the store today and I've got a different computer. This one's $10, so it came with 2 sticks of 512 megabytes of DDR2 memory. So I'm going to put these sticks in and see if they are compatible with our little junk rig over there. I don't know, there's a towel in the way, but we will see if it works. So we'll clean this up a little bit. I mean, this was filthy as well, so we'll clean it up and then put the RAM in and see if it fires up. If it doesn't fire up, then I'm just going to say it's the motherboard, because I know the power supply works. And if it was the CPU, honestly, it probably wouldn't even start. So that's that. So anyway, we'll give it a shot. We'll clean this RAM up and put it in. Okay, so we've put the last stick of memory in, and like, I've tried everything. I've tried every single slot of RAM. I've tried this, that, I don't know, I've just tried a few. I've even tried bashing the motherboard. So it's pretty much a dead motherboard. Though the good news is that the CPU does work, and I'm pretty sure all the memory works as well. So what I'm going to do now is pretty much sell all the individual parts and probably bin the rest of that. So I'll probably bin all that stuff. Bin the motherboard and just sell all the other little parts off. So in the end, I did get a Q9550 and a 600 watt power supply and a half decent case for 20 bucks. Though I did waste another $10 on this thing here, this piece of junk here. So I did waste 20 bucks on this. $10. So all up was $30, and I did get 4 gigabytes of DDR2 memory as well. So all in all, it was okay. It's just I was hoping that this motherboard would work. I was really hoping that this motherboard would work, and it didn't. But anyway, guys, you wanted to see the vlogs. Win or lose, I'm going to show everything. So this is... Hold up. Hey. Alright, so I was just about done. I had edited the video, everything, got it all ready. And then we went out to some more stores to hunt. My brother's hunting for retro games. And they're like secondhand stores that just sell a lot of cheap stuff. And so I saw this. This was like, it was funny. This was advertised as a Core 2 Duo, just a dual core, no hard drive. They're like 10 bucks. And I pulled off the side panel and I saw an AMD motherboard. I'm like, huh, okay, what's going on here? So, the motherboard looks really good. I haven't cleaned this or anything. And then I pulled the heatsink off and it's like a Phenom II. I'm like, wow, that's a quad core. So, I caught these boys slipping up big time, or I don't know, whatever. Maybe they just finished a mega FAP session or whatever. But man, they slipped up $10 and I got all this here. So we're going to give this one more shot. Now the catch here is that this heatsink is broken. So the clip's actually broken, but if it does work, if it does boot up and everything's okay, then you can see that silicon gun there. I'm actually going to do something I've never done before, and if it all does work, then I'm going to kind of just pretty much just silicon gun the heatsink down, and that pretty much means that I'm never going to be pulling this heatsink off or this CPU off again, but it doesn't matter because it's a $10 PC and I just want it to work. So we've got the other parts up here. This is the there's another 4 gigabytes of DDR2 memory, and that Nvidia graphics card's like a nothing card, but whatever, if it works, it'll be cool. Like, I just want to put together a cheap PC. And then we got that 250 gigabyte hard drive. So fingers crossed that this does work. So I'm really hoping it does work. So let's fire it up. Let's see if it works. Okay, the moment of truth you've all been waiting for. I've hooked it all up. And we've got the keyboard and mouse ready. We've got HDMI, the TV's on. TV's like, yep, give me a signal. So let's try this. Okay. Whoa. It's like the power supply. It's letting off this high-pitched noise. This doesn't sound good already. Okay, we'll turn it on. Oh, it turns on, which is cool. Let's see if we can get a signal. Come on. I mean, it's turning on. The power button worked. Okay, come on. I got it on the right one. HDMI. It should be HDMI 1. Okay, we've got nothing so far. There's no signal coming out of this, so it could be the HDMI port's faulty or something. I don't know. Or it could be we're 3 for 3. Like, you know, I already gone through 2 of these computers. The last one, last $10 one I bought went up in smoke. Like, literally, smoke popped out of it. I was like, damn. So this looks like it's 3 for 3. But what I'm going to try and do is I'll try and switch some parts over now, switch the RAM over, change the power supply, even put that graphics card in and see if we can get a signal out of it. Because, you know, the motherboard and the CPU are the main parts that I want to work, and if they work, then we've got a PC. So I'll try and work some things and see if we can get something working out of this. Fingers are still crossed. Okay, so upon pulling off this power connector to the CPU, you can see that it's like fried, like, and that, I mean, it looks like it's the power supply that's at fault, since I guess someone probably probably installed the computer and just had a loose connector. That's what it looks like. So anyway, I'm going to put another power supply in and see if this will fire up, but that's definitely the problem there. So that's scary. I've never seen that before. So anyway, just be careful. This is, I guess, the lesson to come out of this is make sure all your harnesses are connected properly. So anyway, let's try and fix this PC. Alright, so we got another power supply rigged up here. We've got CPU just sort of sitting there, the cooler's sitting there, doing nothing but just sitting on the CPU. And we got one stick of RAM. So if this doesn't boot up, then nothing will. That means the motherboard's pretty much dead. So we'll give this a shot. So we got no more whining. But oh yeah, I need a screwdriver. Now I'll just use a USB port here to short the pins. Okay. Let's see if we can get a signal. Whoa. Okay. What?
What? I put that work in to win, no problems.
It works. Okay, so it was the power supply. So I thought the high-pitched whine, that could have been the power supply, and I was pretty much right. Though I do worry about that connector still, but this is definitely some good news that it's booting up and it's giving me a signal, so pretty much. So we're gonna try and, yeah, like try and work with this now. So yeah, I'm gonna actually put it in a case now and try and set it up. That's actually really good news. And if it boots up, then this would have all been for something. This whole 3 junk rigs. Man, that's like, I don't know, I feel like I've climbed Mount Everest with one leg or something. I don't know. Alright, so we've silicon gunned the heatsink down here, so I do not recommend any of this doing any of this at home. So siliconed it down. Now it is technically, I can get the CPU out, so once this dries, it'll probably take a few hours. Once it dries, if I do want to pull the CPU out, I can actually just get a Stanley knife and cut the links. So yeah, but anyway, I just thought I'd give it a go. So the motherboard does work. I'm pretty sure at this stage it'll all work. So once this is dried up, I'll then start putting it into that $20 rig case, and we will hook it all up and then put a hard drive in, put 6 gigabytes of DDR2 memory in there, and we'll hopefully have a PC for like under $40. So I'm hoping at this stage. Alright, so here's the heatsink in the morning, and as you can see here, it's firmly attached to the motherboard now. So it did work, the silicon did work. So now it's time to put this motherboard in the case and screw it off and put the RAM in, hook up the power, and let's see if we can get it to work 100%. Alright, so the computer is finally up and running. I did have some problems with the SATA connections there, mainly the USB boot. It wouldn't boot off a USB device. So I had to pull off an old CD, and I've got a spare Windows 7 copy lying around, so I thought, hey, I'll install that. And it's working, like everything is legitimately working. I'm surprised. It's got 6 gigabytes of DDR2 memory in there, and it's also got a Phenom II quad-core processor. I'm playing too much Call of Duty lately, but it's got a quad-core CPU in there, the Phenom II 940. So anyway, that being said, this whole thing cost me $40, and I think we need to move over to a conclusion because there's a lot that needs to be spoken about with this. So all in all, here we are with a PC that works. I was really surprised, and at the same time I was really happy because I built a quad-core Phenom II AMD build with 6 GB of DDR2 memory for $40. Now, we pulled the power supply out of the first build, which worked fine, and then we pulled out other parts and replaced them, and we got a working PC. And everything is good. Mind you, I did put a 250 GB Seagate hard drive in there, but honestly, you could probably pick up a second-hand hard drive for $10. And I did put a graphics card in there that's really lackluster, but if you were to put something like a 650 Ti Boost in here, or something that's pretty cheap, you could have yourself a pretty cheap gaming rig for $100. Now, obviously there are risks, right? I could have ran the risk of everything not working completely since it was junk parts. But when I did inspect them at the hardware store before I bought them, I kind of had an inkling of what would work and what wouldn't work. Especially when I saw this AMD motherboard, I thought, wow, that's pretty much going to work. And I was right, even though I got lucky in that the motherboard wasn't blowing out with that burnt out connection there. Though, keep in mind though, the connection is firmly connected. I've made sure that it's now firmly connected, so nothing shouldn't be too dangerous. Some people may think of this as a fire hazard, but it's working fine. The CPU is secured down by silicon, so it's a little bit ghetto, but at the end of the day, I've got a PC that works, and I've got these spare parts as well. So I got a Q9550 that I pulled from the first build, and that will probably sell for around about $80. I've also got a Core 2 Duo, which is like $5. And then I've got a spare 2 GB of DDR4 memory. So all in all, I've built a PC here today, and I'm probably going to net like $50 profit off it too. So it's a lot of fun. Though honestly, if you're tech savvy, would this be worth your time? I would say yes and no. For me it was, because I had a lot of fun. Also, there was a lot of frustrating moments, but ultimately it all worked out, and I guess that's why it made it all worth it. Though if it didn't work out, I'd probably be doing a different recommendation, which is kind of stupid, but don't worry anyway. I'm just happy that it all worked out, and if you guys, this is an option that you may wish to consider, especially if you go to secondhand junk stores where parts are really cheap. So if, you know, especially where the people at the store don't really know much about computers, which was the case where I went to. So yeah, if you go to some junk stores and check out PCs that don't work, and you inspect them and you know what you're getting, then you can potentially build yourself a really cheap PC. So that's what's come out of this. Is it worth it? Yes and no. That's the answer, and it depends on your, I guess, your level of experience and what you can do to make things work. Though, yeah, anyway, if someone's in Japan and they need a cheap PC, man, I can sell this thing. I can hook you up for like $50. So if you're in Japan, you need a cheap computer, send me a message and I'll hook you up. If you want this computer, just drop a better graphics card in there and you'll have a really decent gaming PC. Anyway, that being said, guys, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments about the $40 rig that I built, then please drop a comment in the comment section below and I will get back to you as soon as possible. And part 3 of the setup, the conclusion of this studio, will be coming. I've just got to do a few things with the cable management around here and it will be completed, so expect that soon. Anyway, guys, I'll catch you with another tech video very soon. Peace out for now. Bye.